जय जिनेन बच्चों, I greatly appreciate if all of you can turn on your camera, है ना? And then we'll get going, okay? Okay, I have Arohi, Ipshita, Ihita, Arham and Sarthak. ठीक है, गुड जॉब। ओके, तो सबसे पहले हम नमोकार मंत्र बोलते हैं, फिर हम मंगलाचरण बोलेंगे और फिर आज के छह डाला के स्ट्रेंजा करेंगे। ओके, गुड जॉब। आरोही, यू वांट टू टर्न ऑन योर कैमरा प्लीज बेटा?
It isn't working. I'm trying to, but it isn't like letting me. I don't know if it's like technical issue or whatever, but I can't get it on. So
ओके,
that's why.
नो
But
वरी, नो
I'm
वरी,
still
ठीक,
here.
नो वरीज, ठीक है ना, कोई बात नहीं। चलिए नमोकार मंत्र करते हैं। नमो अरिहंताणम, नमो सिद्धाणम, नमो आयरियाणम, नमो उवज्झायाणम, नमो लोए सवसाहुणम, ऐसो पंच नमो यारो सव पावपणाशणौ, मंगलाणम सचव्वेसिम पडमम हवै मंगलम। जय जिनेन बच्चों। Okay, so Udyan has also joined us. Perfect. So now we have a good quorum today, है ना? Let me share my screen one more time. I deliberately turned it off. Give me a second to check if okay. So we are live on YouTube as well. ओके, तो आप लोग को पता है हम क्या कर रहे हैं अभी? वी आर गोइंग थ्रू द छह ढाला, है ना? फॉर दिस ईयर द कोर्स वर्क दैट वी आर फॉलोइंग इज द अमेजिंग टेक्स्ट ऑफ छह ढाला, ए पोएटिक compilation that was written in the 19th century, written by Pandit Daulat Ram ji, who used to live in and around Agra, that which is in north of India in Uttar Pradesh. So he organized the knowledge that he acquired from our Jain Agams and from our Digambar Jain Agams into a poetic creation called Chahdhala. Chahdhala has 6 chapters or dhals, each dhal signifying a shield against the aberrations and the attacks of the the things that put limitation on our conduct, right, or obstruct our path to liberation. Also, dhal is a term used for a poetic meter, right? So it's every dhal follows a special meter, a poetic meter of singing it, and that's what also a dhal signifies. ठीक है? अच्छा, हर chapter में there is a different topic which is covered, as per our religious text. Okay. छह ढाला starts with Manglacharan, like many of all of our, for that matter, all of our Jain scriptures. Right now, we don't have a one single holy book, rather, we have multiples of them, covering different topics, chapters, and everything. Now, while all the Vani of Bhagwan was transformed, was kind of which was, uh, you know, which oozed out of Bhagwan's, at the time from Bhagwan at the time of Samosharan, got translated and conveyed to all the human beings and Tiryanch and all type of human beings and all type of jeeves who attended the Samosharan by the Gandhars. But at that point, the mode of transfer of knowledge was verbal, right? So it was transformed from one guru to their shishya and likewise, right? So what happened is, due to the kal dosh, due to the nature of the time, most of this information got lost. However, still, lot of that information got compiled into written text, and that written text got a portion of it is still available to us in various languages. ठीक है ना? So that's how the knowledge got transferred from one generation to the next. But in the process, lot of that information got lost also, and at times got misinterpreted also, which led to formation of so many denominations amongst the Jains also. ठीक है ना? Having said that, we follow the Digambar tradition and we have our own set of canonical text that we follow. Chahdhala is a compression of all that information into a beautiful poetic creation, and we are going through that. ठीक है? तो सबसे पहले हम मंगलाचरण करते हैं। सब लोग एक साथ बोलने की कोशिश करेंगे, जिससे एटलीस्ट हमें मंगलाचरण तो मेमोराइज हो जाए, है ना? तीन भुवन में सार वीतराग विज्ञानता शिव स्वरूप शिवकार नमहु त्रियोग संहारिके. In this Mangalacharan, which is a salutation, a expression of humility towards Panch Parameshtis, in this particular case, towards the knowledge of Vitrag, of attaining Vitragta, that is attaining Siddhavastha, that is attaining Moksha. What the poet Pandit Daulat Ramji has said here is that in this world that is organized into three different type of multiverses, the Urdhulok, which is made up of all the heavens, the Madhyalok, which is made up of all the earths, and then the Narakloks, which is made up of all the Nephernal, bhumis where Narki Jeeves live. In all those multiverses, Vitrag Vijnanata is the primary knowledge, it is the primary summary, and it is this Vitrag Vijnanata that is shows us the path of moksha. That is one that takes us towards Shiv Swarup, Shivkar, one that causes moksha, or one that causes liberation, or one that causes the breakage of all the eight karmas. It is that Vitrag Vijnanata, and with the complete sync of my three yogs, man, vachan, and kai, that is my mind, my words, and my bodily action, I am humbly bowing down to that science, that knowledge of attaining वितरागता. है ना? तो एक तरह से यहाँ पर पंडित जी ने दे हैज एक्सप्रेस्ड his uh, his devotion, his humility towards the Shastra, right? So in our tradition, we talk about three pillars: Dev, Shastra, and Guru. है ना? Dev means Aryant Bhagwan or Siddh Bhagwan, one who have attained, who have broken the cycle of life and birth and have become Mukt, or almost are have become Mukt, right? Which includes Tirthankar Bhagwan also, right? And Guru, the Acharya, Upadhyaya, and the Sadhus who follow the path, right? Sadhus and Sadhvis, they are our Guru. Dev, Shastra, Dev, Shastra, and Guru. So I covered Guru first. So now let me talk about Shastra. Shastra is our canonical scriptures, है ना? तो यहाँ पर एक तरह से पंडित जी ने he has expressed his humility towards Shastra ji, towards Jinwani, as we say in colloquial language. है ना? Jinwani बोलते हैं हम. Jinwani is what? Jinwani is not a single book. It is collection of all the knowledge which is currently existing in digital form, non-digital form, words, text, and beyond. ठीक है ना? All that knowledge that leads us to, or that keeps us on the path of towards liberation and takes us to liberation is one we are bowing down to. Okay? ये मैं आपको बार बार रिमाइंड कराऊंगा क्योंकि ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है ना? और हमेशा ये एक हमारा ट्रेडिशन होता है कि जब भी हम किसी शास्त्र की स्टडी कर रहे होते हैं, स्वाध्याय कर रहे होते हैं, हम अभी क्या कर रहे हैं? व्हाट आर वी डूइंग, इप्सिता? वी आर डूइंग स्वाध्याय. क्या कर रहे हैं हम? व्हाट इज द वर्ड?
स्वाध्याय.
परफेक्ट, स्वाध्याय. गुड प्रोनाउंसिएशन, वेरी गुड. है ना? स्वाध्याय कर रहे हैं, है ना? जब हम किसी शास्त्र को पढ़ते हैं, सुनते हैं, उसके बारे में क्वेश्चनिंग करते हैं और उसके बारे में हमारे डाउट्स को क्लेरिफाई करते हैं, वो सब स्वाध्याय होता है ना? और आप ये सब करते हो, इजंट इट? राइट? अभी आप ये सभी कर रहे हो, तो आप क्या कर रहे हो? स्वाध्याय कर रहे हो. और हम जैन जो श्रावक होते हैं, हमें जब तक हो सके रोज, और रोज नहीं हो तो फ्रीक्वेंटली स्वाध्याय करना चाहिए, है ना? इट इज वन ऑफ द आवश्यक, वन ऑफ द एसेंशियल्स फॉर द श्रावक्स, इवन इफ इट इज फॉर 5 minutes, है ना? इट इज गुड इनफ, राइट? कुछ भी अपना टेक्स्ट है, कुछ थोड़ा नहीं तो अपने लेट्स ट्राई टू read about Namokar mantra, right? Or what does it mean? Reminding ourselves about it again and again. That is good enough. But we should make it a point to do a swadhyay of a type which includes rumination, which includes introspection, which includes contemplation of already read subjects every day. तो अगर आप एक स्टोरी भी सुनते हो यूट्यूब पे जैन धर्म की, वो भी आप स्वाध्याय कह सकते हो. for at your age, है ना? More important thing is doing it frequently, uh, and the frequency should be daily. Okay? चलिए, तो अब हम आगे बढ़ते हैं। तो एक चीज मैं आपको बताना चाह रहा हूं, द वे द फर्स्ट ढाल इज ऑर्गेनाइज्ड. First doll is very depressive. Some people say get very, they get very averse when they go through and depressed. They feel very depressed when they go through the first dhal. And the reason is it all talks about pains and agony and miseries that is involved in all type of gatis, right? Starting from Nigodya gati, which is the worst of all the gatis, and it's basically a type of ekendriya जीव, right? So एक मैं आपको चार्ट फिर से ले जाता हूँ. I had kept it open for a reason. Let me bring it up. Is my screen, can you see my screen? Okay, perfect. So the way the first dhal goes, right? It talks about the pains and miseries which is existent across the sansari, world, right? Whenever a jeev is existing in a conjunct, in a bond with a with pudgal dravya, in particular karma, all that life, all those life forms, all those gatis have a manifestation of pain and misery in one shape or form. Some gatis have more pain and agony, and other gatis may have a little bit less. But even in Dev Gati, which is, some people say if you are in heaven, you are all blessed. It's not the case. There may be a manifestation of a different type of kashai. You may not have to go through the pains of everyday living and dying, but there may be pains involving jealousy, right? The biggest pain of a heavenly, and we'll read about it in a bit, is all about jealousy. So, anyways, that said, right? What we started with the Nigodya gatis. Nigodya gati is a type of Vanaspatikaya jeeves, the lowest form of Vanaspatikaya jeeves, and where the most pain is. एक श्वास में 8-10 बार, Nigodya Jeev lives and dies 18 times while a human being takes a single breath, right? So this is how small the life of a Nigodya Jeev is, and it is very, 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 very difficult to come out of a Nigodya life form. A Jeev is born as a Nigodya Jeev, lives, dies, born again, dies, born again, dies, likewise. And that keeps continues for multiple breaths, or in that way, multiple sequences, right? It is rarest of rare, just by sheer coincidence, that a jeev comes out of the Nigodya Gati and is born in other types of Ekendriya Jeev, the Sthavar Jeev, either as a Prithvikaya, Jalkaya, Agnikaya, or Vayukaya. Even there is a lot of pain, but the problem there is, while there is so much of pain, there is no cognitive ability available, or expressive cognitive ability available, using which a jeev can make mindful effort and come out of that lower form of life. So they continue going through that pain, and subjecting to that pain, which is most of time not in their own control, right? Again, it is a rare occasion that their ayugati as a sthavar jeev, as a ekendriya jeev gets over, and they are born either as a 2-indriya jeev, 3-indriya jeev, or a 4-indriya jeev. We call them vikalendriya jeev. Even when a jeev is born as 2-indriya, 3-indriya, and 4-indriya, there's they are subjected to a lot of pain and misery. What are we talking about? We are talking about insects, we are talking about bugs, we are talking about earthworms. You can imagine yourself, ants, what type of worst life they have to go through. Scorpions, and so many of them, right? It's no good life, right? Somebody may stamp on them, somebody may kill them while doing their act of agriculture, or just like moving around. है ना? They are so small of jeeves, part of that animal world where they have always fearful of predators and accidental deaths, right? And every process, every step of their life and birth, there is so much birth and life and death. There is so much of pain. Then, out of a rarity, some of these jeeves, or one of those jeeves, may get born as a panchendri jeev. Even their panchendri jeev, They may get born as asangi panchindri, right, without learning ability. So they may have enough well grown senses, all the five, but they would still not have the learning abilities, and that way they fall prey to predators very easily. So, one or other way, they are subjected to a lot of violence, right? And they, it's their life is all about survival. ठीक है. Ipshita, ihita, you have a question, beta?
What do you mean by like it says vanaspati vegetable body? What does it mean by like what do you mean by vegetable body?
Okay, we did cover it earlier, but I will do it one time for you. So vegetable body means beta, uh, pla plant like bodies, है ना? So जिसको हम in biological sense we say the flora, right? You have heard the word flora, the plant kingdom, right? The plant kingdom include the lower form plants like your fungus, algae, and everything, all the way to plants which have a full grown body like trees. All that is what we classify into what Jain Agams have classified into वनस्पतिकाय, है ना उनको वी से वनस्पतिकाय. नाउ वनस्पतिकाय में बहुत तरह के होते हैं. प्रत्येक वनस्पतिज एंड देन साधारण वनस्पति. साधारण आर लाइक दोज minute microorganisms, the Nitya Nigodia जीव और इतर निगोदिया जीव, which is the worst form of life. I just covered that. And then प्रत्येक वनस्पति में you have two types, सप्रतिष्ठित and अप्रतिष्ठित. Very fascinating concept. सप्रतिष्ठित or symbiotic is they have one single body, but that single body supports or shares multiple other sadharan vanaspatis. Like single body is sustaining multiple other jeeves. That type of bodies are or jeeves are called as sapratishthit jeeves. And then apratishthit jeev is it's one to one body, one jeev. है ना? ऐसे करके क्लासिफिकेशन है. तो सप्रतिष्ठित का बेस्ट एग्जांपल क्या है? सप्रतिष्ठित प्रत्येक का बेस्ट एग्जांपल क्या है? आलू, अनियंस, पोटैटोज, अनियंस, है ना? उसमें की एक टिप, वन सिंगल स्पैकल ऑफ आलू supports innumerate number of Nigodia jeev. So if somebody cuts an aloo, eats an aloo, they are actually not just causing violence to one single organism, but also इन्यूमरेट नंबर ऑफ निगोडिया जीव्स. इसीलिए ऐसी वेजिटेबल्स को खाने के लिए मना किया जाता है, ऑल्दो दे आर वेजिटेबल्स, राइट, बट दे आर ऑफ दैट टाइप, है ना? ठीक है, ओके. सो लेट मी कीप गोइंग, राइट, बिकॉज दिस इज सॉर्ट ऑफ अ रिविजन ऑल्सो. So then five Indriya Jeev, right? So Asangi and Sangis, right? So Asangi is without learning abilities, who are mainly they fall prey or they become predators, and they do all their acts are centered around satisfying their hunger, killing animals, or getting killed. And then some of them may even get born as Sangi Panchendri, but not all Sangi Panchendri have fully grown learning abilities. Some of these animals are just used for their learning abilities are exploited by other higher human beings, like cows, elephants. What is their life? Right? It's all chedan bhedan. They have to go through several pains and agony of domestication. Dogs, what is their life? They are Sangi Panchendri, but they are always dependent on their masters, and not always the masters treat them well. है ना? Also, several of these Sangi Panchendris fall prey to other predators. Also, several of these Sangi Panchendris are predators themselves. In all cases, they are involved in, they are applying their learning abilities towards worse causes, not to basically come out of this cycle of life and death, right? So this is all what we had covered. Now, so who are we, Sangi Panchendri? Yes, of course. We are one of the Sangi Panchendri. So are the Narki Jeeves, so are the Devgati Jeeves, right? They are all Sangi Panchendris, but it is very difficult for them, all of them, to apply their learning to provide a right direction, to provide a mindful direction, to provide a direction in line with our tradition towards the path of liberation, right? If a soul is not mukt, if a soul is not liberated, then the soul is considered to be a sansari jeev, and all sansari jeevs have to go through the bearing of the karma, which always leads uh, to pain and agony and lot of violence. ठीक है, तो इसको करते हुए जब हमने अभी जब लास्ट टाइम से पढ़ रहे हैं तो हमने यही सबको कवर किया है इस फर्स्ट ढाल में. दिस इज व्हाट वी हैव कवर्ड आरुष, है ना. तो अब हम जहां पहुंचे हैं वहां हम क्या बात कर रहे थे. पहले हमने तिर्यंच गति के जीव के दुख देखे. उसके बाद वी सॉ द दुख ऑफ the Sangi Panchendri of a higher form. And let's see. So let me go to 13th stanza, right? Huh. So in 11th stanza, oh yeah, then we, after the Asangi Panchendri and the other non-human Sangi Panchendri, their dukh, we covered the dukh in the Narak Gati. है ना. अब देखो, जो तिर्यंच वर्ल्ड है वो तो हमारे सामने हमें दिखता है, द फ्लोरा एंड फौना, टू अ ग्रेटर डिग्री we know about all of them. Narki jeeves are something we cannot see from our naked eyes. They are not visible to us because they live in a different set of multiverses where we as human beings cannot go. राइट, बट उनके भी पेन्स को शास्त्र में डिस्क्राइब किया गया है. और कितना पेन था हमने सब पढ़ा है, राइट. वेयर आर दे बोर्न? दे आर नॉट बोर्न इन द वूम ऑफ अ मॉम. They are born in a kind of an incubator, in a test tube, right? And where there is so much of there are speckles and there are thorns and there are these cutting objects all around them. As soon as they are born, they are dropped on the surface of Nark, and as soon as they fall on that surface, the surface is as venomous as thousand scorpions biting a person together. इतना पेन होता है. एंड जैसे ही वो सरफेस पे फॉल करते हैं, दे जंप ऑफ. बिकॉज ऑफ दैट पेन दे कीप जंपिंग ऑफ दैट सरफेस. एवरी टाइम दे टच इट, they are subjected to that much of pain, they jump back, they come back, they come back likewise. And there's so much of pain, right? And they have to go through it. And that there are these special type of devs. They are devs in namesake. They live in the lower stratum, the top stratums of the naraks. And their job is, they are like jailers, right? They are the office bearers of narak lok, and they are responsible for making the Narkiji fight with each other, right? So this type of devs, they are a type of Asur devs, and Amba and Ambavrish devs, and they are responsible for making to causing fights, to causing schism between the Narki Jeeves. So they start fighting with each other and get involved in the acts of violence and cause a lot of pain and misery to each other. Stranger 12, we talk about extreme hunger in Narak. इतनी हंगर होती है कि सारी अर्थ का सारा अनाज भी वो खा जाए तो भी उनको हंगर सेटिस्फाई नहीं होती. बट the issue is there is no such grain even present there. So while they are so hungry and they are so thirsty that they can drink oceans, right? But that they don't have the accessibility to any water or any food. Udayan, is it making sense? Okay, good. Okay, so we'll keep going. So after this, let's cover the Strangia 13. So Strangia 13 and 14. Here we are talking about, now, after covering the dukh of the Narak Gati, now we are talking about the dukh of human life. We don't have to learn and understand it all. It's just a revision, right? We already know about so many dukh. Stanza 13 covers the suffering in human lives that start with the suffering that a baby has to go through in mother's womb, yeah, and during birth itself as a human baby, right? So that's what this stanza is covering. And then the next stanza similarly talks about other druks that we'll get to eventually. Okay, so how does stanza 13 go? It goes like this. Arush, are you with me? Okay, perfect. जननी उदर बसयो नवमास, अंग सकुचते पायो त्रास, निकसत जे दुख पाए घोर, तिनको कहत न आवे और. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that in human life form, the Jeev was confined into a very constrained space in the mother's womb for 9 months. There is so much of, mucus and, and uh, badly smelling liquid out there. The body, the baby lives in that womb. It derives its food from that umbilical cord, but then all the waste from baby's body is again like transferred through the same process. So there is no differentiation between food and waste particle. It's all one and the same, right? Also, the baby is subjected to contraction of body parts, and as this contraction happens, the baby suffers a lot of pain, right? And the intense pain it has to go through. On top of it, when the baby is about to be born, that process in itself involves a lot of pain. It involves pain for the baby also. Baby has to pass through congested spaces, and that causes pain again. So the while it is very natural process for us and we have to accept the process as it is, but the point that poet is making here is that even that process involves pain, and that makes babies cry, right? They are subjected to all this contraction and expansion and then movements and things. And then moms eat something, and if that food is not conducive for the baby, that also causes a lot of miscomfort or discomfort for the baby, right? So all that happens because baby is not yet uh, can make choices or follow its own path, right? So it is subjected to that, right? So that is a type of pain that a human being has to go through. Okay, so we'll do this real me and mix me exercise today. Let's see, Arush and Udyan. So Arush, can you play the real me, and Udyan, can you please play the mixed me? So I think mixed me starts first. So Arush, you have to go first.
But still, we are so lucky that we are humans.
Yes, but that luck is also not forever.
Hmm.
Right? It is not forever, है ना? We have a very uh, limited life, right? 40 years, 50 years, 100 years, 10 years, who knows, right? 12 years, 20 years, right? It's a very limited life. And our objective should be to put this life to the best use, right? While human birth is a precious occasion, right? Being born as a human being, and that too being born as a Jain, a following Jain, is such a precious thing. We should be mindful of it. We should be humble about it. We should put this life to best use. That is the key message out here. है ना? आगे चलते हैं. Okay, keep going. Yeah, this time, yeah. Arush, you have, no, sorry. Udayan, you have to go first.
Also, there is lots of suffering that humans go through in their lifetime.
Like,
पढ़ो बेटा.
The
Udayan.
suffering starts from the time the human being comes in womb, unable to spread their body parts as the space is limited, forced to lie in position and inverted posture, dependent on a limited and leftover portion of mother's food, suffer burning sensations due to spicy consumed by a mother, sometimes to die in womb itself. Yes, there is more than this. Listen further.
oh, I forgot about these sufferings.
Make sense, right? There is so much of suffering. I just covered them, right? There is pain. They cannot spread their arms and legs beyond a point. They are forced to lie in a folded state, inverted posture, right? Dependent on limited and leftover portions of mother's food. Suffers burning sensations if mother eats something which is not palatable to them or not compatible to them. Like if she eats a lot of spicy food, that causes pain. If mother consumes alcohol or smokes, then that is so dangerous for the baby, isn't it? Right? It's the worst thing a mom can do to a baby. I mean, first and foremost, nobody should be even drinking and smoking. But if a mom smokes and drinks, they are they are already seeding cancer in their baby, right? There are these moms, they don't know about it, they keep going through this process of smoking and drinking, and what it leads to is, in very limited life of the baby, even after the baby is born, they are more prone to cancers and other life very dangerous diseases. So one has to be mindful of that. Sometimes the babies die in the womb itself because they don't get all the nutritions, or their genetics is not in favor, and that leads to they dying in the womb. Right? All these pain and suffering happens at the onset of human life. That is, even before they are born, in the womb itself. After they are born, there are more pains, there are more sufferings. This is something we'll cover next. Right? So, Stranja 14. Stranja 14 talks about the suffering of human beings that they go through the stages of life, from childhood, from youth, and old age. In all these stages there is a different type of suffering, right? Good and bad. Some kids have very hard life, others may not have that hard life, but still they have, emotionally and physically, there may be a lot of challenges, right? So how does this chand goes? बालपने में ज्ञान न लह्यो, तरुण समय तरुणी रत रयो, अर्धमत मृतक सम बूढ़ापनो, कैसे रूप लखें आपनो. So what the poet is talking about is, when I was a when I was a child, I didn't have the knowledge, right? I was still exploring and learning, and that's why I was ignorant. When I became a young man, a youth, my focus was all around finding a mate, finding a person to marry and form, raise kids and live a life as a grahast, as a householder, right? When I became old, I lost a lot of capabilities altogether, and I almost became like a half dead, right? So, what else can I say, right? In all these different stages of life, there was something I was lacking. Either I was lacking knowledge, or my focus, I was also surrounded by distractions, or I didn't have the capacity altogether left, in the old ages, right? So that's what this talks about. So during childhood, one did not acquire ability to differentiate between good and bad. In youth, one remained engrossed in sensual pleasures with the spouse. In old ages, one is almost half dead. How can then one obtain a chance for realization of one's own true nature? This is more a rhetorical question that the poet is answer, for which there will be more descriptions and explanations in the later stanzas. But this is what we are talking about, right? Even when you are blessed with all the five senses, fully grown senses, you are blessed with mind, with amazing advanced learning abilities. Where is your focus? Your focus is all over the place, isn't it? Now, in these ages, we are distracted, right? In whether we are in old age or childhood or youth, our focus is in watching Instagram reels, isn't it? That's where we are distraction. Those are all distractions. Are we focusing on dharma or knowing dharma? Maybe not. Probably we can do better. Are we focusing upon acquiring and growing our ability to differentiate between good and bad? Maybe not. Right? That's what happens. Right? And that is what we should be mindful of. See, this first dhal is all focusing upon making you more mindful and more thankful to being born as a human being, that too in a Jain family. This is all about setting the record straight. This is all about giving us the required information to feel blessed being born as human being. है ना? सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट अंडरकरंट मैसेज यही है इस ढाल का. इट इज वेरी डिप्रेसिव ऑफ कोर्स, बट इट इज डिप्रेसिव फॉर दैट रीजन, because we as human beings, this is a human psychology. Sometimes humans have to be given a shock to gain their attention. Otherwise we will be distracted in all the pleasures and trivialities of the world. Make sense? So this is what this dhal talks about. Now, let's do this conversation again. Okay, this time maybe Ipshita and Ihita. So Ipshita, you can be the mixed me, and Ihita, you can be the real me. Go for it.
I wonder how should we get rid of human life sufferings? First, try to understand that there are 3 stages of human life and each of it is having its own suffering. Let me guess. Childhood, young age, and old age? Correct. Now tell me, what are the sufferings? When we are in childhood, 1. Difficult for parents to understand when we are hungry, thirsty, or ill, as we are not being able to express fully.
Isn't it? Isn't it? That's the case, right? Babies, they have to cry to gain attention of the parents, right? When they poop, when they they pee, or when they are hungry. In all three cases, they have to cry to gain the attention of parents, right? Crying is, expression of their discomfort in one form. Okay, keep going, Ihita.
Second, sometimes we make mess out of waste and dirty things. Third, we fall down and hurt ourselves as we are not able to balance and walk properly. Fourth, getting getting beaten get beaten up by parents when they're tensed.
Oh, yeah, you guys are not subjected to that, right? You never get beaten by parents because they are tense. That's a very Indian thing. Oh, Indian thing of our generation and prior. Not you guys. Gen Z and Alpha are not subjected to all that. But yet, parents may not agree to everything that you may want to do, right? And that may cause pain and suffering, of course, right? You may want to go out and play in snow and your parents may stop you. You may go out and play in the rain and your parents may stop you, right? You may be fighting with each other, your siblings, and your parents may scold you and give you time out. Of course, that may cause a lot of emotional pain, but not necessarily physical pain. Okay. So that said, let's keep going. Okay. Keep going, Ipshita and Hita.
How about young age? When we become young, first, we get addicted to bad habits. Second, we get into bad relationships and bad marriage. Third, we have limited means for survival. Fourth, it's because we do not know the real self and true dharma. We remain entangled in worldly pleasures and suffer eventually.
You read very good, Hita. Very nice, right? So this one is very important, right? What happens? Most of the grown-ups, they don't even know true dharma, so they just live a very fake see life. They just keep doing what they are doing, very chaotic life. They just live by their by elements. They just want to do everything and anything that they like to do, and in all that they subject themselves to a lot of worldly pleasures and sufferings, heartbreaks, and whatnot. Right? So that keeps happening. What else? Keep going. Keep going, beta.
So sad to know. Moreover, in the old age, we suffer due to the weakness of senses and body. This is really sad. What should we do to make use of human life and get rid of sufferings? Very good question. We should try to understand true Dharma. Have faith in Dharma and follow the path of Dharma to make best use of human life and get rid of sufferings and attain bliss. To accomplish this first, we need to study the true Dharma. Oh, so we should attend pathshala or listen to Dharm discourses and make full efforts to understand through Dharm to make best use of our life. Yes.
Correct. Awesome, guys. This is great. This was the best conversation that I have heard. Amazing. Good job. Okay, so that's what human life is all about. The poet used the reference of the stages of life to express it. Now, he didn't cover everything and anything, right? He just talked about the general nature and the general sufferings and of each of these stages in life: childhood, young age, and the old age. Okay. Now, when we talk about Manushya, okay, the human beings, we have to understand we are not the only human beings as per Jainism. We are a type of human beings who live on this earth, and there are many such earths in our universe. That is what we have to understand. As per Jainism, you know human life is sustainable on something called as Dhaidvip. So when we take the middle world, right, out of the three loks, we take the second lok, that is the Prithvi lok or Madhya lok. That Madhya lok is made up of concentric rings. This is a topic of Jain geography, right? And at the center of, so how do these concentric rings go? Each ring, so the innermost ring, which is not a ring but a center, like a core, that core is called as the Jambu Dweep. And after Jambu Dweep, there is a Lavan Samudra, then there is a Dhatki Khand, which is the second Dweep or second earth. Then there is another Samudra called Kalodadi, and then there is a Pushkar Dweep. And then there is another Samudra and a Dweep, and it goes up to infinite. So these are infinite concentric rings of dweeps, which are, you can say dweep is a word, although dweep currently in the current control vocabulary, it is translated into an island. But here we are not talking about an island. We are talking about a universe. Let's put it that way, right? So there is universe, then there is some empty space or a samudra, then there is another universe where life is possible, then an empty space or a samudra, and likewise, right? So the theory is, or the Jain Agam says, that out of these dweeps, Arush, human life is possible up to 2.5 द्वीप्स. 2.5 द्वीप. आप ये बार बार सुनोगे, 2.5 द्वीप, 2.5 द्वीप, 2.5 द्वीप. ढाई मीन्स 2.5, है ना? 2.5 द्वीप तक ह्यूमंस आर पॉसिबल. उसके बाद में भी जीव होते हैं, बट वो ह्यूमन फॉर्म में नहीं होंगे, वो देव होते हैं. देव्स कैन गो बियॉन्ड दीज 2.5 द्वीप्स. सो द थर्ड द्वीप is actually divided. It's a ring like dweep, and in the middle of that dweep there is a range. You can call it as an event horizon in the current physics sense, astronomical sense. It is that event horizon. It's like a mountain range called Manushottar Parvat Mala. Human life is possible until that Manushottar Parvatmala. Okay. Beyond that, human form is not possible. Nigodia jeeves can exist, probably Tiryanj can exist, devs can come and go, but not human beings. ठीक है ना? ये एक जैन ज्योग्राफी का कॉन्सेप्ट है. अच्छा, इसमें एक इंपॉर्टेंट, हम कहाँ हैं? वेयर आर वी प्लेस्ड? वेयर इज अवर अर्थ? द अर्थ दैट वी नो एज टुडे, which is made up of all the continents and everything, that is placed in what is called as a Jambu Dweep. It is in Jambu Dweep, in particularly in Bharat Kshetra. So Bharat Kshetra is a portion, a sector of Jambu Dweep where our Earth exists. Okay, that's what it is. Now, there is a notion that how like from the center, what is the radii of this Dhaidweep, then it is said to be 45 lakh yojans. Okay, sorry, 45 lakh yojan. Now, what is yojan? Yojan is an old unit of distance. ओके, इट इज़ अ वेरी हाई यूनिट. लाइक जैसे हम लाइट ईयर्स की बात करते हैं ना, जब भी हम एस्ट्रोनॉमी की बात करते हैं आरुष, राइट, उसी तरह से योजन भी एक बहुत हाई यूनिट है। कितना हाई है? तो 1 योजन इज इक्वल टू 4 कोस, राइट? Where 1 कोस is 1.8 kilometers. So it's like little bit more than a mile, right? So 1 yojan is about four, about, I would not say about, but little more than 4 miles. Okay. So when we say 1 yojan, we are saying 7.2 kilometers. So when we say 45 lakh yojans, we are talking about 3 crore 24 lakh kilometers. That's the limit of the area up to which human life is possible. Okay. Causes of Manusya life form is Vishuddh Shubh Punya Bhav, कषाय लेशा ऑफ लोअर इंटेंसिटी। ये थोड़ा सा एकदम ऑफ बीट कॉन्सेप्ट दे दिया एकदम से, बट दिस इज काइंड ऑफ गोइंग बैक टू व्हाट टाइप ऑफ भाव्स लीड टू मनुष्य गति बंध। एकदम से ऑफ बीट कॉन्सेप्ट है। क्या क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट है? रिमेंबर, वन हु डज ऑब्लिक भाव्स, राइट? ऑब्लिक का मतलब तिरछे भाव, या जिसको हम बोलते हैं ना मायाचार करता है, वो तिर्यंच गति का जीव बनता है, वो एनिमल लाइफ फॉर्म या प्लांट लाइफ फॉर्म में जाता है। जो संश्लेषी भाव करता है, बहुत हाई इंटेंसिटी की कषाय करता है, दे दैट लीड्स टू नरिक गति बंध, है ना? और जो जीव विशुद्ध शुभ भाव या पुण्य भाव करता है और उस समय उनको आयु गति बंद होता है, तो वो आयु गति बंद कैसा होगा? मनुष्य गति का होगा, है ना? और एक बार गति बंद हो जाता है तो जब भी आयु ओवर होती है तो नेक्स्ट लाइफ में वो जीव उस तरह की बॉडी लेके पैदा होता है। ठीक है? तो ये एकदम से बात थी यहाँ पे। ओके, एक और चीज कॉन्सेप्ट की यहाँ बात हो रही है, भोग भूमिज एंड मनुष्य बाउंटी लैंड्स, राइट? एंड देन देर इज कर्म भूमि। So bounty lands are those lands. Now same land, physical land, could be in a bhog bhumi state or in the karm bhumi state depending on the time, right? Like our Bharat Kshetra currently is not in a bhog bhumi. Now what is bhog bhumi? Bhog bhumi ka matlab where all the wishes are fulfilled by these kalp vriks, desire fulfilling trees, right? And karm bhumi is where you have to make effort to survive, to earn a living, right? All human beings have to make an effort to survive and earn a living. उस तरह की भूमि को कर्म भूमि कहते हैं, जैसे हमारे अभी की टाइप ऑफ अर्थ है ना? द अर्थ दैट वी लिव ऑन टुडे इन द करंट टाइम्स इज कर्म भूमि. You have to make efforts to make a living, right? Once you would become grown ups, for that matter, even as a kid, you have to make ample efforts to make your to satisfy your desires, to satisfy your needs. भोग भूमि में ऐसा नहीं होता. भोग भूमि में there exist these different type of trees and they all lead to fulfillment of the needs and desires. Okay, ऐसा concept है. Okay, now I think I covered this, so I will keep going on this. Okay, so now what is the chintan today? What is the contemplation? Contemplation का हिंदी वर्ड होता है चिंतन, है ना? चिंता नहीं, चिंता is worry. चिंतन means contemplation. Please write 5 resolutions that you will like to take to become careful in arambha activities. Okay, what are arambha activities? Arambha activities are household chores. है ना? तो हम लोग सब ह्यूमन बींग्स हैं, हम सब हाउस होल्ड चोर्स करते हैं, राइट? वी वॉश अवर यूटेंसिल्स, वी वॉश अवर क्लोथ्स, वी मॉप अवर फ्लोर, we move things around in the house to organize them, and we plant, we irrigate our plants, we provide them water, we move objects and whatnot. These type of activities are called as आरंभी एक्टिविटीज. और इनमें सब में क्या होता है, माइंडफुली और नॉन माइंडफुली, दे कॉज, देयर हैपन्स वायलेंस, देयर हैपन्स सम damage to the lower life forms, to if nothing then definitely to the स्थावर जीव्स, है ना? स्थावर जीव की हिंसा तो होती ही होती है, एक इंद्रिय जीव की हिंसा तो होती ही होती है. इसलिए यहां पे क्वेश्चन क्या है? प्लीज राइट 5 resolutions that you will like to take to become careful in arambha activities, and also how you will control your kashay and minimize sinful activities. है ना? आप जो भी काम करोगे उसके बारे में सोच के देखना कि अगर मैं मूव करता हूँ, आई वॉक, राइट, आई शुड डू मोर माइंडफुल वॉकिंग, है ना. when I'm should I should apply mind, should I walk through the grass or not, should I be running on the grass or not, right, because उसमें भी हिंसा हो सकती है ना. तो ये सब चीज़ों के बारे में आपको सोचना पड़ेगा. If I'm taking a shower, right, how much of water I should be uh, wasting while taking a shower, how much of water I should be using while taking a shower or brushing my teeth, and so forth. ठीक है ना. तो इस तरह की बात यहाँ पे कॉन्टेम्पलेशन में है. ओके. ओके, इप्शिता, यू हैव अ क्वेश्चन.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is it fine if we write what we already do?
Sure, yes, of course, definitely, right? But 5 resolutions, okay? So think about it and submit them in time. Okay. Any other question, beta? Ihita, go ahead.
So is it technically just like 5 chores that we do?
I am not asking for the 5 chores you do. It is about 5 resolutions that you will take to be more mindful, to be more careful while doing those chores. So if you wash your clothes, great. It's a good thing to do, right? As a discipline. है ना? If you take your trash bins out, of course, that's a good thing. That helps your parents. That builds your character. That builds your habits. I'm not asking about them. I am asking about being more mindful while doing it. है ना. हाउ वुड यू अप्लाई योर केयरफुलनेस टुवर्ड्स देम, बिकॉज जब भी आप ये हाउस होल्ड चोर्स करते हो, ये आरंभी एक्टिविटीज करते हो, इन एक्टिविटीज में देर इज सम डैमेज, सम वायलेंस ऑफ द लोअर ऑर्डर जीव्स, राइट. सो वी शुड बी माइंडफुल ऑफ दैट.
Okay.
समझ आई बात?
Yeah.
ओके. एनी अदर क्वेश्चन? आरोही, बेटा आपकी तरफ से कोई क्वेश्चन है?
No.
ओके. सार्थक, अरहम, आरुष, उदयन. Perfect. So it looks like you guys are understanding everything perfectly. आप लोग को अच्छे से समझ आ रहा है, आरुष? I know it's late for you guys, so I have to ensure that you guys are not sleepy. Okay? I hope you are not sleeping. Okay. ठीक है. I don't know you are not. I'm just want to, I'm teasing you up. Okay? But you should be mindful, है ना? चलो. अब I think we are done with this for today's pathshala. So let's do Jinwani Stuti and we'll end the pathshala. Okay? जावाणी के ज्ञान से सूझे लोकालोक, तेवाणी मस्तक धरूं देहूं सदा धोक. हे जिनवाणी भारती माँ तो है जपूं दिन रैन, जो तेरी शरणा गए सो पावे सुख चैन. जावाणी के ज्ञान. जय जिनेन बच्चों, उत्तम क्षमा, and see you in the next pathshala class. Okay?
Jai Jinendra.
जय जिनेन्द्र.
Jai Jinan.
Jai Jinendra.
जय जिनेन बेटा. जय जिनेन सार्थक.